What's up? I'm Amanda Pollock, and in this video we're going to talk about, is it worth it to hire a book coach? So what is a book coach? A book coach is someone who guides writers through the book writing process. Some people have specific niches, like me. I'm a cookbook and food memoir coach, but there are coaches out there for everyone. So a little bit of background on that is, now the way that publishing works, you are given an editor. If you get a traditional book publishing deal, you're given an editor. You may or may not have a lot of contact with them. Editors used to be a constant point of contact for writers, and they were really there for the long haul of your career. It was pretty common for writers to work with the same editor at the same publishing house. You might even try to follow your editor to another publishing house. I'll get into that a little bit later, but really that's what a book coach is. So now you're kind of given an editor, and who knows when you might be able to talk to them, because they have so many titles they're working on. And a book coach is someone who you can use in a multitude of ways to write your story, to develop it, and some people even help with marketing and so on and so forth. So anyway, is it worth it to hire a book coach? So the first thing you have to ask yourself is, are you stuck? That's really why you bring in help at any point, right? So you've taken yourself as far as you can go. Now you need someone to get you to the next level. Think of it if you had certain weight loss goals. You might have started with a program, you might buy a book, you might buy some recipes, like a digital download. I don't know why my brain just had a fart, but you see a lot of those. Like someone might have a workout program and they have some kind of recipe book that you might buy. You do all of these small little things, and it's just generalized information, right? It's for the masses, but at some point you might need some individual coaching, because your goals are going to look different than the next person who buys that program. You have a different lifestyle, you have different restraints, so on and so forth. So you might want to then hire a personal trainer. It's the same thing with coaching. You can Google, you can read all of the books that you want, but at some point you're gonna need someone who says, okay, so these are the pages you have, great, this is your story, okay, this is what I'm seeing, this is what's working, this is where I think you need to go next. And some people are resistant to this in general because they think, well, I'm a writer, so I can get myself there, or I'm in a place where I don't think I need to bring somebody else in. And often you need to bring somebody in long before you think that you do. So I would say that if you feel that you're stuck and you've taken yourself as far as you can go, that might be an indication that you should hire a book coach, and it's probably gonna be worth it. The next question you can also ask yourself too is, are you waiting a long time to get feedback from friends and family? So a lot of clients who I work with, who are cookbook and food memoirists, they work in the food media space, they have a lot of industry connections. So they might send their book proposal, which is just your business plan that you would send to a literary agent or book publisher, something that we work on together. Some people start that on their own, and then they might send it to a friend who has published a cookbook or who has agent connections and want to get their feedback. But people get busy. People have the best of intentions, and they might read your proposal or some pages of your book and give you general feedback of, oh, it was really good, oh, I think you should expand here, it's a little bit light here, I don't have enough details, very vague things like that, right? But not very specific targeted things, because also a lot of people who are reading that also doesn't mean that they know how to give feedback. So just because someone has written a book or also has connections in the industry doesn't mean that they can give you usable feedback for your work. It doesn't mean that they don't have good intuition or good feelings about a work, but giving feedback is so much different than just reading something and intuitively knowing if something works or not. So that can be a point where you might want to bring somebody in if you're just waiting for feedback from people who you're not paying. You're not paying, and you might not get constructive feedback you can use so that you're strengthening your story. Sometimes if you're working with someone who is removed from you emotionally and is just looking at this and just wants to serve you the best that they can, it's most likely going to be better for you and your story working with someone who isn't tied to you so closely, because also some people in your life might not want to hurt your feelings. So something might not be working and they could be protecting you by giving you just non-targeted comments, and then you have this work that you just continue working on and you're not really strengthening it, and people are just protecting your feelings. So and then the last question honestly is, are you looking to create a long-term relationship with someone? So I kind of mentioned this before, but editors used to be such a huge part of an author's journey, and now the way that publishing houses are, a lot of that has changed. And there is such a value in having a relationship with someone who gets you, gets your work, gets what you're about, will remember things that you've talked about. So when I work with clients, we get on 2 coaching calls a month, maybe more, but we have 2 just always coaching calls a month with our deadlines, and we are really able to, over time, foster this amazing connection that, quite frankly, you're not going to have with everyone. I was at a conference a few months ago, and I was speaking to a cookbook author who is a James Beard Award winner, and I was with a client of mine, and my client was telling this author, how we work together. And this author just looked at my client and said, "You're so lucky." She also shared that she didn't have an agent, that she really just got a publishing deal and had been working with the same cookbook editor for years and was told how rare that was. So then just continued to look at my client and say, "You're so lucky." And I said, "Well, I'm so lucky too. I have the best clients ever." But it is really rare to have the same person in a publishing house work on all of your books throughout your career, because if you're trying to traditionally publish, the idea is that you're not just writing one book, this is going to be something you continue on. So do you want someone who just understands and gets it? I think of my hairstylist. I can go in and I just tell her, I'm like, this is kind of what I need. I just trim it up, shape it up, take some weight off, and she does what I need her to because I've been going to her for years. The same thing happens when you've been working with a book coach for any amount of time. There's a point where you guys just get each other, where they can send you just a couple of lines in an edit letter and you get it. So think of your goals. Think of also financially what you can afford. There is a cost that comes with that. So you just have to figure out if you are really wanting to write this book, what that really looks like for you. And I have never worked with someone who didn't say that it was worth it. You might start working with someone for a while and then you take a break. That's totally normal. But more times than not, if you have a dream of writing a book, if you have a dream of being published, of your work being seen, of you growing as an author, it's always going to be worth it. You just have to figure out if the worth it is now or later. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any comments or questions, you can drop them in the comments below, or also you can find me at amandapollock.com. The link's down there. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.